All right, Chapter 1, Lesson 1. So our I can statement lets us know that at the end of this video, you should know how to rewrite fractions and mixed numbers as decimals and decimals as fractions or mixed numbers. So rational numbers, this is an important vocab, are numbers that can be written as a ratio. These can be written in several ways. So fractions and mixed numbers are written as so. We can have a fraction with a numerator, which is on top, or a denominator, which is on bottom. So another example would be 1/5. And then a mixed number contains a whole number and a fraction. That's 1 1/2. Decimals include that period and following numbers. So we have 0.5 and 0.25. So today we are going to learn how to rewrite these as each other. So these are two ways to write ratios. Okay, so we could also write 1.5, and that would also be considered a decimal. Percentages include 50%, 0.5%, and then integers can be negative or positive. So our whole numbers, 1, and our natural numbers only include positive numbers. So 1, 2, 10. And then up here, we have irrational numbers. These cannot be written as a ratio. So that means it cannot be written as a fraction. So what do these look like? Non-terminating and non-repeating. So what a repeating decimal does look like is it'll have some numbers and they will just keep repeating. It can also be rewritten as that. So the line goes over top of the repeating number. A terminating decimal would be, our examples, 0.5 or 0.25. They all come to an end, so it's terminating. So a non-terminating and non-repeating decimal includes pi. So pi is a number that just goes on and on and on. So we could also have and this is not repeating. So it'll just be a long list of different numbers. Okay. So first, we're going to look at what fractions look like. 1/4, 2/9, 3/4. And we're going to convert fractions into decimals by dividing. So when we say dividing, we're going to take one of our fractions, like 1/4. We're going to start with the top. We're going to do 1 divided by 4. And for this, we're just going to type it into the calculator, and we'll get 0.25. So for mixed numbers, like 2 2/4 or 5 4/7, we're going to use similar steps. So first, we will rewrite it as an improper fraction. Second, we will divide. So say we have 2 2/4. So as an improper fraction, we are going to multiply the bottom by the whole number. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then we're going to add it to the top. So 8 plus 2 is 10. So we'll put our 10 on top. And then we'll just bring the number 4 over. Okay. And then this will simplify to 5 halves. It's all right if you don't simplify. We're going to work on that later. So our next step is just like above. We're going to divide. We get 5 halves. We're going to do 5 divided by 2 in our calculator. We will get 2.5. So easy enough. Rewrite as an improper fraction and then divide like above. So here is our little word problem, okay? And if we can do these well, we can earn points of bananas and see how it goes. So a musician produces 11 albums. 9 of them become #1 hits. Write the ratio of #1 hit albums to total of albums produced. Okay, so this says we are writing a ratio of #1 hits to total albums. So if a musician produces 11 albums, that is our denominator. Out of the 11, 9 of them become #1 hits. So our ratio is 9/11. Okay, so now we're going to write as a decimal. So we take that top, we divide it by 11. 9 divided by 11 equals 0.81. And you will see a bunch of 8 ones, which means it is repeating. So what kind of decimal is this? A repeating decimal. Is the number rational? If you call back to your chart, we know the irrational numbers are not terminating and not repeating. So in this case, it is not irrational, it is considered rational. So 2 examples of what a decimal looks like. And now we're going to convert decimals to fractions by finding our placement. So there's special names for each place right of the period or the decimal point. The first spot is called the tenths place. The second is the hundredths place. And the third is the thousandths place. how I like to think of this is count how many numbers after the decimal and include a 0. So 0.1, one number, 1 0. That gives us 10. 0.01, two numbers. That gives us 100. So placements are going to tell us or help us know our denominator, and we're going to rewrite the decimal as a fraction. So 0.5 has one place. So we're going to write that as the 5 over our tenths place. For the next, we have to recognize it's repeating. So for repeating numbers, we count the places of the numbers before it starts repeating. So I mean, this starts repeating at 8, 1. So this means we'll include the hundredths place. So we're going to take 81 on top. The trick here is when we are repeating, we use nines, because a terminating decimal will give us our tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Because it's weird, we will be using 2 nines. So repeating decimals use 9, 99, or 999. For 1.75, we're going to bring over the whole number and then look at this, and we see that's in the second spot from the decimal. So this is the hundredths place. Is it repeating? No. So we're going to use our usual 100ths. So we'll have 175 hundredths. So these are our calculator skills. We have finished our by hand skills, and this is another option that you guys will have. In class, we can practice these. You can try to use your calculators now and practice. I've also listed some YouTube videos that you guys can watch if you need extra help with calculators. We will be working on this in class.
Hey, good morning.